of easily transportable electronic medical records finally becomes a reality. This will allow patients to easily transmit information from one doctor to another, even if they're different networks and using different record-keeping systems. No matter what system they use, they're all transferable. The new standards will also make it simple for patients to access their own personal health records. I don't want to see mine, please. I don't want to see. I don't know about you. They have all sorts of things, sir. They can tell you exactly what your problem is going to be in 6 years. We can do it. You know, they have all these different things. I don't know if they work or not, but I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. If they got a problem, I don't want to know about it right now. But it is amazing what they're doing. I don't know, does it actually work? Can they do that? All right, well, then I'm glad I said I don't want to know. But thanks to this announcement, healthcare providers across the country will also finally be able to kill the clipboard. It's an expression that's used, capital, with a capital C, kill the clipboard. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted.
While Netflix and Airbnb and Uber drivers are racing ahead, making arrangements, identifying the problems that are challenging us in healthcare have become incredibly difficult. You can't make appointments. The average Americans are tired. They're tired of waiting for a doctor's appointment. They're tired of waiting for the surprise of what your hospital bill is going to offer. That's being addressed by one of the president's executive orders. They're tired of waiting for access to their medical records. You own your medical records. They're yours. Why you can't have access to them is a stunning reality in modern-day America. They're also tired of waiting for Washington to take action. And this president early on emphatically stated that wasn't going to happen anymore, and today we made that vision into a reality. And there's a fine line between vision and hallucination.
Hey, Shalom, Makim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Rule Well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in the gospel, bro. Lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. It's titled, The Global Digital Biometrical Infrastructure Leading to the Mark of the Beast System is Emerging. You got the President, Donald Trump. Now you notice that this dude is he's changing his stance about his stance on biometric tracking data. Now, going back to 2016, when he was running for president the first term, he mentioned that they was going to enter a visa tracking system to track illegals or migrants or whatever you want to call them, right? And, you know, that was going to be a thing in place to protect border security and blase. And going back to Palantir in Israel and Gaza with the putting people in these internment facilities and to rationing out food, you know, into surveilling in a mass surveillance state when we're here. He basically lied because he said he wasn't going to deal with that. But now all of a sudden, now he's selling it on the premise of, well, people are tired and waiting for doctor's appointments. Well, all that whole pandemic shit and the mass layoffs and corporations spending billions of dollars on these different technologies and so forth and laying people off was all part of the sale pitch to inconvenience you people to opt into a more convenient future. I say it that way, using digital biometrics, which they want to set things up for a social credit score now. Okay, we've been mentioning that. It's an article I had. I don't even have it anymore. I think when I had reset my phone, I lost a lot of those articles I had on my other tab. All right, but we basically was going into it maybe about a year and a half ago about how they're going to put people into particular classes. Now, you go to places like China and different parts of Europe, they deal with social credit systems, especially over there in China, based on your activity, what you do, how you behave in society. That grants you a score of, let's just say, a B rating, using that as an example, right? Now, if you defy government or you're putting out anything that speaks out on the government, then your credit score drops or your credit rating drops. It's just like a credit score, but it's based on your activities or your behaviors in person, rather your financial decisions. And basically your behaviors dictates what you will be able to do financially. So henceforth, going back into the truckers in Canada, they shut off their particular methods of payment because they were speaking out against certain things. And, you know, this guy, what's his guy name? the fucking governor of Canada. Was it not Cuomo? Gavin Newsom, not Gavin Newsom. That's the dude from California, Justin Trudeau, I believe. But Canada has basically become a shit show as well. So now he's selling you on this information. And a lot of you people, you gonna take it because when you go on YouTube or you go on TikTok, the biggest complaint right now is people getting laid off, people losing jobs. Same thing. People housing is too goddamn expensive. Like I was in the process of moving this year. I was gonna find another place because I'm like, I need to get a bigger place, you know. Transition. Sometimes you have to transition and do things in a haste. Sometimes you got to downgrade. You know what I'm saying? So this place, they require you to give 60-day notice, which I don't know why. Like 60 days is like, dude, I got to give you 2 months to go find another place. And especially, you know, when the leases are coming up at summertime, it's very a hassle to look for places in the summertime. Ideally would be to now when people start apartment shopping. So I checked my lease because they sent it back in June. So I just opened the shit up yesterday because one thing, I do not open up mail. It depends on what it is. I would let that shit sit or I would send it back or whatever. I don't even want to deal with it. So I finally opened Spirit said, open it up, man. I was like, oh, these bitches then went up $40 fucking. I'm like, oh, it went up on my rent to live here, you know. Well, not that it's a bad place, nice area. It's cool, but it's not like it's a luxury apartment. You know, I don't have chandeliers and jacuzzis in the bathroom and none of this luxury shit that they're advertising here. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like a basic apartment, you know, place to lay my head at to do my lessons, my sense of serenity. And these motherfuckers are going up on my rent. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm just break the fucking lease, pay what I need to pay and get the fuck out. That's simple, right? But see, people are complaining because rents are going up. So this system here is set up to entice people to take this microchip because it's all about control at the end of the day. And that's what these people ain't telling you, man. It's all about control. But somehow, some way, we get labeled conspiracy theorists, you know? So anyway, let's go here to the book of Psalms 55, and I'm going to start at verses 20. It says, the words of his mouth, and it says, he put forth his hands against such as be at peace with them. He have broken his covenant. Yeah, because he's telling you one thing, but he's saying something else on the back end. Okay, at the end of the day, it's all lies and convoluted bullshit. And you people are going to fall for it because this is all that you have. Okay, you're not going to be able to operate independently outside of the beast system. So therefore, you're going to give your allegiance over to this system. And the scriptures tells us exactly not to do that because the destruction that comes with it. Okay, and it says here, and the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. So it's all based on a lie. You know, he's making it sound good, but ideally, this is to get you jacked up out here because the scriptures tells us what will happen if you take the MOT to the busy, you know, mark of the beast, the MOTB. We ain't even got to say MOTB. We just say mark of the beast. I mean, hell, eventually they're going to take the videos down anyway, but they're even talking about it in the media now. So, I mean, shit, the mark of the beast. And that's just what it is. All right. So let's play a little bit more.
What you did today was show us a vision because you share it with us and we're moving ahead on it. And that's what today's commitments essentially are reflecting. And they are pledges. They're not laws. They're nimble and they're fast and they're quick because the president understands that you, each of you in your own way, understand these needs. And Secretary Kennedy spoke beautifully about the reality of what happens when you actually have electronic records because what he said is happening in Indonesia, we'll have here. Within a year, on your device, and 91% of Medicaid patients have smartphones. On this device, you'll get insights based on your records if you want. You don't have to take this, but if you desire, Amy Gleason, one of the smartest people I've ever worked with, has built a mechanism to be able to get you that information in a way with all these partners helping so that you can get nudged to pay attention to what you're eating and avoid processed foods. Secretary Kennedy smartly and wisely highlighted is so dangerous to our well-being. All this, by the way, is that will be at the fingertips. In addition, advice about which doctor to see, when to go see them, nudges, reminding you why I didn't do certain things. If you're a doctor like me, it's a very different story. It's to help you navigate the system better. It's giving you advice, decision support.
Why the fuck would I listen to a TV doctor? Are you fucking kidding me? This dude is saying a bunch of loaded nothing. Man, this is madness, man. Who Who's gonna listen to this guy, dude? Nobody listening to your ass, man. Dr. Oz, give me a fucking break. This is the book of Job 14. That's why the Most High's got to get rid of you devils, man. You devils are completely out your mind. But this is the book of Job 13 and 4. And it says, but ye are forgers of lies, you're all physicians of no value, all right? You devils are nothing but a bunch of hypocrites at the end of the day. And nobody's getting ready to fall for this madness, man, unless you Mickey Mouse. All right? Matter of fact, let's do this. Job 15. And let's go down to verses 20. Matter of fact, let's start at verses 31. It says, let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity should be his recompense. Because the scriptures say that they're going to fall into a snare by their own feet, roughly paraphrasing it. It says, it should be accomplished before his time, and his branch should not be green. And he should shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and should cast out his flower as olive. For the congregation of hypocrites should be desolate, and fire should consume the tabernacle of the bribery. Right. It says the congregation of hypocrites, man. It says they conceive mischief, they bring forth vanity, their belly prepared deceit. So listening to these men is like listening to fucking nails on a goddamn chalkboard. All right, it's irritating. But nonetheless, they're going for it because this is prophetic. It's in the scriptures.
You why I didn't do certain things. If you're a doctor like me, it's a very different story. It's to help you navigate the system better. It's giving you advice. This isn't support.
Hell out of here, man. He's a TV doctor.
The latest breakthroughs. Turns out one of the biggest discoveries is actually this tiny. See how small that is? This little chip may be the next big thing. And it sounds like it's right from a sci-fi movie, but people all over the world are implanting these into their wrists. So
See how they propagate it? This is called gradualism, and they're putting it before you. They have to desensitize you to it. So when it comes, you would say, oh, that's no big deal. Oh, okay. And a lot of these idiots in the audience, a lot of times it's part of their handlers, their cabal, or their cult members, or their fraternity. But a lot of times, man, when you be seeing these talk shows and stuff, be filled the audience and stuff. Like when you go to them boxing matches, like them high level boxing matches, you be seeing random people in the audience that don't even look like they would even watch boxing. Then some of them just be a bunch of rich elites that just pay Jake to beat the shit out of each other. But a lot of times these be their sorority or fraternity brothers and sisters, or part of their cabal. You know, a lot of times it'd be their handlers. Because if you notice, you go to a boxing match, like if you look at the what's one big fight we had? I won't say Crawford versus Madrimov. I mean, that was a decent fight, but it wasn't like. You go to Tank Davis versus Lamont Rocha. Let's go back. The biggest fight within the last 2 years was Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. And you look at like the first row of people outside of the judges, it looked like Amalek, man. You know how he was watching the ring. They put money on that stuff. So they sell it. Same thing here. You be dumb enough to listen to this guy. This nigga ain't no fucking doctor, man. Are you serious?
that's my producer digging to find out more about this cutting-edge technology and what it could mean for your health.
And now the Ministry of Health has shifted to the use of biometric verification system for Social Health Authority and the use of the Digital Practice 360 application. This means that patients will no longer use the one-time password authorization method, that's the OTP, to access healthcare at health facilities countrywide. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says the move is aimed at tightening healthcare verification, curbing fraud, as well as eliminating the misuse of the SHA benefits package. Helen Aura has the details.
This marks the start of the Social Health Authority's biometric system, replacing the recently suspended OTP system.
The government of Kenya, through SHA, is today rolling out biometric identification and verification for all SHA beneficiaries across the country. This innovation will secure access to health services without having physical documents. Your fingerprint will verify your identity securely. This biometric will help us in eliminating fraud.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says the biometric system instantly verifies a patient's identity, linking them to their digital health profile, benefits, entitlements, and medical history.
All healthcare workers now have an opportunity to view, to approve, and to manage pre-authorization claims and the services they offer directly through Practice 360 app.
Kenya's past health coverage provider, the National Hospital Insurance Fund, faced massive fraud, losing over 20 billion Kenya shillings in fraudulent claims. Health service providers say the biometric system is long overdue, arguing that the OTP system was unreliable and aided fraud.
Facilities involved in double billing will be suspended.
At the same time, President William Ruto has warned hospitals that are charging for outpatient services at dispensaries, health centers, and sub-county facilities.
Tumeweka pesa ya serikali kwa budget.
Yeah, so basically, talking heads have to sell this stuff to you at the end of the day, and this is how they operate. All right? This book is 2 Thessalonians 2:1. It says, "Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit nor by word, nor from letter as from us, but that day of Yahushua is at hand." So as these things come to pass, we're seeing the shift in global policies, man. And now the Most High is moving. He's pushing things forward. So things are getting ready to pick up quick, because if you look at Russia have nuclear capability to the point you don't even have to man it. And we mentioned too that a lot of times, like AI, the nuclear war can literally be started by AI. Who knows? You know, the apostles went into it years ago. They was like, look, the angels can push a button and that'd be it. And before you know it, the reaction, you know, the other nations are reactive to it. So if they perceive that Russia shot off a nuke or some type of autopilot or whatever you want to call it, or drone, hey, fucking America, they'll retaliate just off GP, man. So things are moving in Russia. They're talking about nuclear war now, and this thing is getting ready to pick up. We're getting ready to see all hell break loose on the shores of America and around the world. Tensions of war. Hell is coming out that those people in Gaza are being eliminated. Kids are being starved out. Israel is being exposed as being a genocidal state, to say the least. And it's not looking too good for the West, man. And it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day it says, for that day shall not come except that come upon the way first. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." All right. And who is talking about? It's talking about Esau. And it reads, it says, "Who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worship, so that he is the Most High, sitteth in a temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is a power." So this is why he's pushing his MOTB. And he lied about it. He said he wasn't even on that. Now all of a sudden he's pushing it. Oh, well, you know, people are waiting 8 months to get a medical appointment. Well, because y'all laid off all the doctors, and the doctors quit because of your test run back in 2020. A lot of doctors say, you know what? We're leaving. We don't want to deal with this madness anymore. We laid off, you know, and he's absolutely right. It is taking 6-7 months to go get seen a specialist, especially here in KC, you know, to get a goddamn, you don't have a primary physician to get a checkup. It may take you 4 or 5 months, man, you know. So, yeah, the demand for doctors and nurses is at an all-time high. But see, they're using that to push this MOT to the B on people, you know. So a little bit more and we'll end it.
Shilingi bilioni 21 ya matibabu ya Wakenya. Kila Mkenya.
And all these have been done by private corporations, by the way. Private corporations have your records. You know, going back into that big data breach we had maybe last year, the beginning of last year, 2023 or something. They was talking about how this data breach into how like 2-point-something billion records and social security numbers were leaked, and people was getting these spam calls. All that is going to be used to factor in the fact that we need more and tighter security because our information is being leaked, when in fact it's your government that's selling your information to these third-party corporations or companies or whatever you want to call them, and they're basically playing boogeyman with your data. You see what I'm saying? And that way people will get afraid because, you know, the average American, they thrive or they claim to stand behind privacy, but yet you got a smart house. Hell, you got a smart lock, you got a smart TV, PS5, smartphone, smart microwave, smart refrigerators. You got Siri and Alexa. Both them hoes are fighting over who's going to get the most attention, and there you go. And it was kind of warranted that way because everything they push, they phase the old way out. Like, to the point you can't have a flip phone no more, man. Hell, even government free phones are smartphones now. So there you go. They have access to your information. Shit, you can't be in the house without Wi-Fi. Hell, the computer is the primary central point of everything around us, so you need a computer. Everybody got a smart TV. Everybody has a video game. You got Wi-Fi. You got a fucking cell phone. Would it be iPhone or Android, whatever. At the end of the day, same goddamn thing. You know?
Aende kwa health center, aende kwa dispensary, aende kwa level 4, ile outpatient yote. Utatibiwa, utapatiwa dawa, na usilipe chochote kwa sababu serikali ya Kenya itakulipia.
As Kenya strives to enhance its digital healthcare system, health stakeholders are now urging the Ministry of Health to ensure all loopholes that ailed the defunct NHIF are sealed. Helen Aura, NTV.
That the biometric cur has already been approved in Mexico? Is a new national identification tool that seeks to help in the fight against the disappearance of people. Here I explain what it is, how it works, and why it is so important. The biometric cur is a renewed version of the unique population registration key. Unlike the traditional CURP, it will integrate biometric data such as fingerprints, a recent facial photograph, the holder's signature, and an iris scan. These elements will allow for much more precise identification and will help reduce the risk of identity theft or forgery.
That's all bullshit, man, because the fact that you're uploading this data into a system and then it's being shipped off to corporations, you know what you think they're doing with your data, bro? Wait a minute, man. We've been using biometrics for some time. Hell, people still get their records hacked. Hell, to get in your cell phone, sometimes you use because you don't want to remember the passwords, you use what they call biometrics. It scans your face. Hell, when you get a new iPhone or a new Android, when you set up the phone, they ask you, and then they say, well, facial recognition. They take a scan of your head, your eyes. They got you already programmed in order to operate your phone. And then they tie into the apps. Well, hey, we'll log in the app by using your biometrics. But yeah, people's records still get taken from them, man. So this ain't got nothing to do with safety. This is about control. And we're coming into a draconian type setup, man. This is getting ready to be a draconian society. We went into the definition yesterday. Punishing people to the fullest extent of the law for minor offenses. And basically the penalty of not accepting the microchip eventually will be death. Okay, yeah, they may say, well, you know, those among us that don't receive the chip, they just can't integrate in society among us and let us go. You think they're going to let everybody just run rampant off the grid like that? Not paying taxes and not paying it to their institutions? No, it's going to be a freaking witch hunt. And they're going to come after the men of the Lord. They definitely going to come after us. You know, and certain brothers going to have to go to the prisons and get their heads cut off. That's part of the prophecy. So it ain't going to be this ain't going to be no easy one to escape. Nah, bro, this is getting ready to be a fight for your salvation. And I don't think you brothers out there in them other camps understand how the gravity of this. I don't think you're really taking this thing serious. See, we push the urgency of this, man. You other camps are playing games with it because you don't think it's going to come knocking at your fucking front door. This shit going to come bamming. It's already at the door. It's just a matter if you're going to let her in or not. And a lot of you camps, man, you're going to fucking fold because you're not grounded. You're not rooted. Let's go here. What is it? Romans 13. And see, they're going to try to use this scripture here. Let every be subject to the government. Let every soul be subjected to the higher powers. For there is no power but the Most High. And the powers that are be ordained are of the Most High. See, A Christian, when you even gonna have Israelites that's gonna try to pull this. Well, you gotta listen to the government, brother. That's bullshit. Because when it comes to violating your the law, statutes, and the commandments to the point of death, then you don't do that, man. Okay, the scriptures say, well, look, if you lay down with another man's wife, that's you're in danger of adultery, the judgment. So if the government say, well, you got to go and sleep with another man's wife, and you know, and that's contrary to the laws of the Most High, you gonna do it, or you gonna say, nah, fuck that. You see, and that's the stance you got to take, because this is equivalent to adultery. Basically, you take the chip, you're basically giving yourself over to another entity, and they're penetrating you. And the Lord don't want to see his woman get penetrated by a heathen at that. So the wages of that is death. You take the chip, you will be destroyed. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're gonna be destroyed. And it says, whosoever resisted the power, or resisted the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive unto themselves damnation. You see? But this ain't talking about taking a chip because they say so. No, man, this is just talking about in tandems of your everyday life. You know, the cops pull you over, comply with them. You know, you got a court appearance, fucking show up. You know, whatever you got to do to keep yourself away from this devil's embattlements, man. Because the scriptures say, keep him far away from the men that have the power to kill. So in tandem of that, you know, you want to keep the laws of the society to the best of your ability, but not compromising your walk with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is what it's going into. Because when you go into the book of Daniel, why did Daniel get thrown in the lion's den, and why do you have the story of the three holy children? When you go to Baruch 6, it goes into how we was going to have to go through persecution because of idol worship, man. And this is the biggest form of idolatry. And the scriptures tells us in Baruch 6 not to bow down to these idols no matter what. So you got to read stories like that in order to build your mind up to see what our forefathers did and how the Lord delivered them. That's why when you go to the book of Revelation here, and it is plain this day. This is the book of Revelation 3, and I'm going to start at verses 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation which should come upon the whole world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. All of them. Ain't no goddamn rapture coming. All right. When the word world here goes into oikoumene, which means the entire inhabited earth or globe. And the whole world is going to go through a mass chipping process. And believe it or not, they're already starting. Okay, I believe a lot of things they're doing off books, too. They're not putting out there in the media because they don't want to cause an outcry. But when it comes to Babylon, 9 times out of 10, half everybody in the world may already be chipped. We just probably don't know about it because we have a total media blackout. Like, we don't really know what's going on in the world outside of little pockets of alternative news. And they say this, that, say that, you know. But we have a media block on us, man. So they may probably be mass microchipping in the whole other. We probably just don't even know about it. But when it comes here, that's when shit gonna really get real, man. And it says here, behold, I come quickly, hold fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he should go out no more. And I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which coming down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. All right. So I'm going to end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.
The facial photograph will be taken directly at the civil registry offices along with the rest of the biometric data, all to guarantee its authenticity. In addition, it will include the full name, date, and place of birth. This biometric cur will be available in physical and digital format and will serve as official identification throughout the country. Its main function will be to improve the search for missing persons, allowing real-time and highly accurate consultations. The information will be integrated into a single identity platform that will connect registries such as the Civil Registry, the National Forensic Data Bank, and other administrative databases, allowing for much faster, safer, and more effective identification. To facilitate search efforts, the law provides for access to this information to key agencies such as the Attorney General's Office, state prosecutors' offices, the National Intelligence Center, and other security agencies. This will allow them to act in a coordinated manner to locate missing persons. In addition, any public or private agency that refuses to share this data will face fines of up to 20,000 times the daily value of the unit of measurement and update. In addition, any public or private agency that refuses to share this data will face fines of up to 20,000 times the daily value of the unit of measurement and update. The biometric CUR will be in charge of the Digital Transformation and Telecommunications Agency. It will be mandatory to carry out procedures and access public and private services, both in physical and digital media. Although the law has already been approved by Congress, the executive branch has yet to publish it in the official Gazette of the Federation. The process to obtain the biometric CUR is expected to be available in the coming months, although there is no exact date yet. Do you think this measure will be useful, or does it represent a risk to your personal data? Leave us your opinion in the comments.
The Ministry of Public Security is deploying electronic identification, authentication, and biometric recognition for flight check-ins. Biometric check-in is being introduced in 3 phases. It has already been deployed at major international airports such as Noi Bai, Tan Son Nhat, Da Nang, Po Quoc, Cam Ranh, Po Bai, and Capi. By mid-September, it will be expanded to 11 more airports. From the beginning of 2026, at least 70% of domestic passengers will check in through automatic gates using biometric technology, aiming to apply synchronously nationwide.